Please start.
Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryanda Vande Guru Parampara. Om Shagana Vabhatu Sakano Punattu Sakaviryam Karabhavai Tejas Vinavadidamastuma Vishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Isavasyam Idahum Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Taktena Punjita Makritaha Kasyasit Dhanam Kurvanneva Karmani Jijivishet Shamaha Evam Tvaina Anyate Asti Na Karma Lipyate Nare Asurya Namate Loka Andena Tamasa Vrdha Dagum Ste Pratyabhi Kachanti Ekecha Atmahano Janaha. Then we went to the last class, the fourth verse. Anejadekam Manaso Jidiyo Nainadeva Apnuvan Purvamarshit Tat Dhavato Anyat Edi Tishtate Tasmin Apo Madarisva Tathati. So we'll just quickly recap verse 4. In the verse 4, the sloka 4, the mantra 4, the Rishi is giving us a description of Atma, which is indescribable. So, if you remember, we discussed this in two parts. Anejate, that which does not move. Please contemplate when you listen to this, that the padartham for tat is Atma, Ishvara, the self. We will worry about the Jiva Ishvara Aikyam later. But the same padartham for Ishvara, Atma Tattvam. In Apumsakalingam we take it. Anejat, that means it is something which does not move. Then we saw another description for it by Ekam. Ekam is Advaitam, non-dual. Then there is a phrase which came later, Tishtate, standing, established, stationary, positioned. Now we use these three to understand. These indicate the all-pervading Atma. All-pervading means Sarvagataka, Purnam. If it is all there, it has nowhere to go because it's filling everywhere. Advaitam, it is indivisible. Then to understand from our perspective that we see things are moving, we are in a changing world, everything for us is a movement. So when we are in this Vyavakarika domain of experience, it's very difficult for us to comprehend a Nirguna Brahma or an Atma which is Aprameyam. But nevertheless, the Vedamata is giving, okay, I will now give you Atma in another form, that which is conditioned by the upadhis. What is upadhis we saw last class? Upadhis are anything that limits. In other words, the nama rupa guna visesham. When you add a visesham, an adjective, an adverb to something, that means you are limiting it. Adverb because of kriyapatam. The running man, the running is here, is an adverb that comes from the action running. Or a good person, yellow, green flower, blue flower, visesham. So here he said, if you take that upati, that because you are looking at the Atma as embodiment of body and mind, then I will still tell you, the Veda tells you, to discriminate between the Chaitanyam, the Chetanam, and the Achetanam, that which is not moving. And he gives an example with the three phrases. Manaso Javiyo. Then Nainat Deva Apnuvan Purvan Arsate. Tad Dhatu Anyan Atyeti. Manaso Javiyo. It is faster than the mind. Another, it here is Atma, the Chaitanyam, the consciousness, the awareness. So if you take, to understand this, faster than the mind, first part you must understand. Faster than the mind is faster. You know, why is he taking the example of mind here? Because the intent of this mantra is to indicate the Atma, which is the supreme. Here the supremacy is shown with a speed as a benchmarking criterion. Yes, it's any criteria you can take. Speed is taken here. If you take the fastest in this world is the mind, because I can think of anything at the same time, I'll be there, faster than the light. But the mind is jadam. So if the mind goes somewhere and sees something in the quickest of the moment, that ability to see means where the mind is positioned, there is already the Chaitanya, Atma is there. The Atma has gone before the mind. Therefore, it's like feeding the child, it will give examples. So mind is not as fast as Atma. Atma is the fastest. If Atma is faster than the mind, the senses are the devas. Devyati prakashe iti deva. Whatever the brightens your power of understanding, perception. Indriyas are the Indras, devas. We saw that in the old stories, in movies, when the rishis do the penance, the Indras send the Ramba and Urvasi to dance in front of them so that the penance can be reduced, diminished. That are Indriyas, the senses. When you sit for penance, japam, all your thoughts come in, the smell of good food and the hearing of the nice music, the fragrance of the passerby, all that is dancing in front of you. Indriyas. But these senses, which brings the knowledge to the mind, is a servant of the mind. If mind is a charioteer to go from here to there, the senses are the horses. So we already proven that Atma is faster than the mind. Therefore, you don't need to prove Atma is faster than the horses or the mind, which are the senses. Because before the senses go, Atma is already gone. It's another way of saying Atma is aprameya. Prameya means an instrument for knowledge. So the senses are the instruments of knowledge. Aprameya means it is beyond the sensory perception, which means don't try to smell the God, see the God, hear the God, because you cannot. It doesn't mean he doesn't exist or she doesn't exist, because the experiencer of all this, the enlightening awareness of all this is Ishvara, that is Atma. So that is where the Vedanta takes you roundabout, Then it said that Davatu Anyan Atyeti. Davatu means which runs away. Okay. Is he repeating the senses? Bhashyakar also say the senses, but you can also take it a little bit higher, because what runs faster, we may think, because if you are measuring a speed of anything, what are you measuring with? With the time. But for us, time runs, right? Time runs. So of course, time is indefinable. Therefore, we don't know what it is. But there is something there which pulls everything apart. We call it the time. It's the power of Maya. But here it can say it is even faster than the time. That means it transcends time. How does it do all this? Tishtati, by just standing in the same place, it transcends everything. Now, how do we understand this? We understand this by our experience of life. See, Vedantam is very in that way, it's very simple. It has got few examples, a handful of examples. Everything comes out of this example alone. Sushupti, for example, deep sleep is one use case as we take it. I experience this world. I see you, you see me. I have some experience, knowledge. There's a time. I go to sleep. I got a dream there. The dream, I create a new world of my experiences based. I enjoy and stay. But in that experience world, in the dream, which is one third of my life, unfortunately, we only look at the one third of life as our life, which is the vacant state. Life is only that's one third of your experience. So the dream, I do have a time. The time looks different, shorter. That means dream time is not static. Time bends, time changes, as science proves. But when I go to deep sleep, there is no time. At least I'm not aware of the time for me. But I do see that I have been sleeping well. I had a good sleep. I had a bad dream, but I had good sleep. I get up. So there is something in me watching my three sets of experiences just to give, they always need a holding point. So they put a word called turiyam. There's no fourth state, but imagine there's a fourth state, turiyam, where there is somebody is standing and watching. Like a security guard in a place. He opens the door, people go, come. He knows everything, but he's not inside, not outside, but he knows everything else. So, because it is beyond this time domain, which is of this awakened state or a dream state or a deep sleep state, Atma is transcending time. And all that it does by tishtat, standing. So we saw that. Then Upanishad use other phrase to bring us back to this worldly experience. Tasmin, that Atma, that Atma Tattvam, Apo Matrishva Tadati. Madarishva here is Hiranyagarbha. Apo means water. Apaha, water. Here Apaha refers to, this I mean dictionary doesn't help in this Upanishad understanding. The Bhashyakara say Apaha means action, creation. Every work that you do refer to water. Chalati. Of course, in all the Vaidika karma, water is the main important point, so it may refer to that. But I won't take a deep, of course, in Bhashyam has got a deep examples from different Upanishads, how Apo means action, karma. We will not dwell there. So here he says, by staying put, unmoving as a witness, the Atma is giving Tadadi, Vibhagam, to the Hiranyagarbha, the cosmic person, the cosmic power, the action that it needs to do. Apo. What is that? It means the cosmic Purushan is the Hiranyagarbha, and under his command is all the Devas. Agni, you be heat. Jala, Apaya, you be a cool, thirst quenching Amritam. Vayu, you be this. Prithvi, you be this. So like that, he gives the nirdi for all the dharmas and control them. Like the same way, in the body, we have a control of pranavayu, apanavayu, samanavayu, vyanavayu. You know, we eat food. What happens to the food? How does it get digested? Who has got the rules? Where is that encoded? Is it in the DNA? If it is DNA, who writes the DNA? The Tati, Hiranyagarbha, has given that to every Jivarasi. In the Vyashti, which means microcosm, and Samashti in the macrocosm. So in this mantra, we got Atma Tattvam as something which is all-pervading, unmoving, untouched, unpainted, aprameyam, beyond the person perceptibility, and it controls upon which everything operates. Simply the God, Ishvara. So we saw the meaning of it. Then take the next one now. Tate jadi, tannai jati, taddure tatvandike, tadantarasya sarvasya, tadu sarvasyasya bahyatah. It keeps on going in a paradoxical statement. Tat ejati, tatejati. Tat means, let's take a padartha first. Always remember, in the Vedanta, Tat means Brahman, Ishvaraham, Atma Tattvam. Tattvam is also contains the same thing. Tvam means you, Tat means that, Tattva means you are that, Isavasyam. That's what the very word is used. Of course, we call it as a Tatparyam as well. It's a different meaning. You know. Sanskrit, when the words are compounded, there are so many different meanings, and you will learn that in the Sanskrit language education. So here, Tad is the Atma. Ejati. Ejru, we already saw in the last. It's basically the same mantra. It's throwing a riddle for you to contemplate, you know. When you see a Sudoku or a crossword, we do the train stopped in the station, you're closing down. But the last puzzle, last word, you're not solved it, you know, you cannot sleep, right? It's just, you're walking, you're thinking about it. And when you find it, immediately you stop there and pick a pen and cross it. And at least I do it. So that's why Vedanta uses this technique of enticing you to think more. So here it is saying two completely opposite statements. Tat ejadi, tat anjayati. Tat na jayati. That moves not. Strange, right? What is that can move, that can moves not? Tad dure. That is far. Tadu, you must split as a tad u. That atma, u, tadu. Tat u. Antike. Antike means near, proximity. So that moves not. That is far, that is very near. How do we understand this? Now, moves not. We saw in the last mantra also. If you go in a train, a simple example, you travel in a train, you sit in the window, you just put your foot there, face there, and watch things pass by. And if you're able to see the rails moves with you. Especially next, not the rails on which you are running, but maybe parallel one. You watch that one, it is moving with you. Same speed or maybe even faster. And when you reach the station, that is there. It's already reached there. It's not moving, but it gives a perception of moving. So then why this word play? What is there to contemplate? It's just a simple example of a misconception, things that is not moving, you think it's moving. No. The train rail is just to give you the first step. But think deeply. I move. I am the Atma. I sing, I write, I talk, I fly. But this I of me is a second form of Atma that I see as something which is limited in nature. It's got a upati. We got a name for it. We call it Jiva. The Jiva is, when I say I, when you ask you, who are you? I say, oh, I am Ramesh. So when you say I am Ramesh, that I is limited by the phrase Ramesh, because I ask the same question, who are you, ma'am? And you say, I am Lakshmi. Now, the I is now got limited by Lakshmitva. How she looks, what's her gender, what's her height, weight, her nature. That represents the I. You see, it's called Upati. Everybody's name is I. Even if you go and ask God, God, who are you? I am Paramatma. Aham. Brahma. So the Aham is the name of Atma, which we all use all the time. But how do we use it? We use it with it becomes an upahitam. It becomes conditioned by the upati of my embodiments. But what we forget sometimes is that you have chosen to do that adhyasam, adhyaropam, superimposition on this to represent you, but that is not you. But I need to use it. So don't go to office tomorrow and say, no, I'm not this body. No, you can't do that. But adhyasam is accepted myth. Sun rises in the east. You know it doesn't rise. But it's okay to use it because it helps you to transact. So all the doctrines of Dvaitam, all this is very essential in life, but they are like, walking stick to walk in a slippery slope of the Jagat. But they are not the right, they are not the truth. Because when you reach the peak, you don't need the walking stick, throw it away. When you get this moksham, Advaita Anuphuti, all the Dvaita Bham should go away. So this transition of keeping it perpetually is Dvaitavadam. Keeping it as necessary as you want to, but then translate into Advaita, Visishtadvaitam, which Ramanuja gave us very kindly. And Advaitam stands with the super truth, No compromise. I won't even go to that primary kindergarten stuff. I stay there with my doctrine or thesis or the truth. So everything is necessary. So when you do the Vedanta Vichara, when you talk to different acharyas, they may give you a different views, but they are all giving you the stepping stones to reach the truth. So don't compare the sadhanas to the sadhyam. Okay, you can travel by motorbike, you can travel by jet, walk. Actual means of travel. The means are not the end. End is Advaita Manabhuti. So I just say that so that you avoid any confusion about this. So we understand. So how do I say the move, unmoving, not moving in my personal experience? My jiva moves as if it knows everything, as if it is a chit. It's called a chitabhasha. The adhyasa means a child doesn't know, we say child is a god because especially in this early form of the child, when it is growing, she doesn't know anything. But it's just a parabrahman, everything is fine. But then we feed her, oh, who are you? Who is Sahitya? I say, I, Sahitya, I. So you just start imposing the name to the adhyasam. We impose them. So it is nurtured, an essential thing. And we get confused, I and my, I'm not well, but my body is not well. But so we become so confused. You never say, if your house is dirty, you won't say I am dirty. You're very clear. House is not me. House is dirty. House is dysfunctional. House needs repair, not me, because I just dwell there. Well, the body is not you. You just dwell there. So when the body is having problems, why you panic? You repair it. If it decay, so be it. It has to decay. So this is how you have to contemplate. So I do move, and therefore it moves not. Tad dure, tad anantike. It is very far. It is very near. Antike is very, very close. How do we explain this one? Yeah, the best example is what Vedanta gives you. Vedanta gives you an example. You might have heard this one, If you see the example of Vedanta, it looks very silly and simple. It is. But when you look at it more deeper, it is so beautiful. And this is a very beautiful example. The boys were swimming in Ganges and coming ashore, 10 of them. And one who takes leadership, he has got a responsibility to take them back home. So he counts, because mother told, all you 10 boys come back safe. So he finishes swimming, come to the shore, he counting everybody, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9 of them. 10 is not there. He's counting again. 1 is missing. Then the other says, the 9 says, oh, boss, can you go and find the last person, the person that you lost? You and I know it because we are very brilliant people. So we think, hey, you didn't count yourself. You are the person. We didn't tell him that. So he's going to look for this person missing. Now, tell me the distance between him and the missing person. Impossible distance. He can go anywhere. He look for the missing person, we cannot find. Wherever he goes, that person is far away, dure. He is tired. And then he says, what am I going to do? Then a guru comes in. Hey, what are you looking for? Oh, we went to the swimming, but only 9 I counted. There's one person missing. And he says, Tadu, Thomasi, you are that person. Now, he suddenly realizes, oh, look, I did not count myself. How silly I am. So the moment he counts himself, now tell me the distance between him and the person that he found now. Almost 0 or 0. The same. Anmantike, very close. You see, the example is a very trivial example, but it's so profound. But why are you saying, how can he not count himself? Yeah, the seer will tell you, how can you not see yourself as a God? For him, it is as silly as you are. If you're not able to do Isavasya Upanishad, if you're not able to see that you are the Atma, you are as foolish, the Guru says to me, you are as foolish as the boy who does not count himself as one of those gone into the river. So that's how you agree, you understand this. Tadure, tadantike. Now, there are so many such paradoxical words Upanishad uses. And Isavasya is so famous for those. But this makes you, it entices you, trying to think, Then he says, Tad Tadantrasya Sarvasya Tatu. So when you do the NYM for it, don't say Tad Andara is, You mistake it. Tad Anta Asya Sarvasya. The Ra is a Sandhi. So Tad, that Atma, Anta Sarvasya. Asya Sarvasya. That Atma is inside Sarva. In everything else, it's inside. It's indwelling. Atma is indwelling. Okay. Tatu, Tatu, what does it do? Sarvasya Asya Bahyataha. Bahyataha means outside. That Atma is outside all of this. Another riddle. That Atma is inside all of this. But the Atma is outside all of this. Inside and outside. How can something be inside and outside? Either you are in or out. How can it be inside or outside? How can we understand this? Because you are trying to indicate the inexplicable Atma Tattvam, Aprameyam. You need to find some example of things that you can experience in this world, but as fine as the Atma in terms of Anirvachaniyam, indescribability. That is the space. Now I say, show me the space. Okay, let's take a child. I'm telling a child. We are all educated. We know. We have a scientific definition of it. But it's like a child. Show me the space. A child asked me, Uncle, show me the space. I said, oh, look up. That's the space. He looks up and his sky is, then it will imagine there is something outside the sky. But a way to do that is, Vedanta says, show him a pot which is empty. So I got a pot. You cannot get away from the mud pot. That's always going to come. The mud pot, you show the child. You see the pot? Yeah. What is inside the pot? It looks at it and said, nothing. No, there is space. Oh, it's inside, there's a space. You look at this pot is inside full of water. It is filled with water. This pot is full of water. This pot inside is space. Oh, that means the space is only inside this pot? No, space is outside the pot. It's all over the space. See, just to explain the space, we need a upadhi. The upadhi is the pot. There is no way I could explain to the child what the space is if I don't have this little example. A pot of water, I can say it's water is inside. An empty pot, I can say space is inside. Oh, I can't see the space. Oh, whatever you see is a space. And it is everywhere, it's there. So same way, that's the reason why it uses. So this definition here, Atma is inside, Atma is outside, is therefore the inside-outside boundaries is by this body. I wear the shirt outside my body. My blood is inside my body. So mind is inside. Like this, I can have a definition of in and out because I have an upadhi. But if I don't have this body, or if I don't attach myself to the body, do I have a limitation of space? No. So it's kaladhitam, also deshadhitam. It is beyond the space, beyond the time. Hey, this is confusing. How can something, you explained to me about the time, I understand the dream and all that. Time is fictional one. But space is everywhere. If you go to skies, keep on going, there may not be time, you cannot visualize time, but space is everywhere. Because space contains everything. How it can be beyond the space? What do you have to do? Go back to an example of Sushupti, deep sleep. You got a 8x8 super king size bed. That's your space. You lie down. Your body is there on this thing. You have a dream. The dream you create a world. There's a space there. Enjoy. Dream is finished and you go to deep sleep. What happened to the space? Gone. Why space is gone? Because space is the container of thought. Thoughts create the world. Everything is created by the thoughts, concepts. It contained in this space. It is illuminated by the Chaitanya. The space is the domain where this Maya Shakti plays. But when I don't have thoughts, the mind is shut. Vritti Nirodham has come. Where is space? There is no space. So, Ashtavakra says about the time I need, the power I need to roll up the space like I roll up the carpet. If you see the Max Muller's paper, also Einstein's in a way, he says the space-time domain is a wrapper. It's wrapping around. That means it's like a carpet. You can roll it. It's very beautiful to think. How can I roll the time? If I put a carpet, I'll put a thin sheet of paper, okay, thin sheet I put in, spread everywhere. And it is woven by threads. The threads are called time and space. Time is a thread and space is a thread. And when I weave them, the time and space create a cloth. Now imagine there's a little bit of air goes under the sheet and it creates protruding blocks of formations. Lots of protruding, like air has gone inside, the On the surface, you see projections. These projections are creations in the time and space. There's nothing inside. Some power is there, the Chaitanyam is there, it creates this projection. Now, if you stretch the cloth, what happened to projection? Collapses. Then again it comes out. So, between two projections, there is no change. They look different. One is shorter, one is longer, one is fatter, one is thinner. But they're all sitting. So each projection may be a universe, a earth, or a jiva, a tree, whatever it is. But they are all mythical, I use the word very carefully, real, relatively real, absolutely mythical, projections of the time and space, the mind, because of the power of the Chaitanya, Atma. There's no difference. Difference exists when you perceive it as Dvaita Bhavam. But in the Karana Drishti, it's nothing. So if with this understanding, you read even physics, which talks about the space-time curvature and how it expands, relate, you will understand there is profound ideas in the Upanishad which excites you. But all this is in you because thought creates the time, right? Do you understand? Do you contemplate this? Time, what happened? Time, the speed of time changes with the intensity of your thoughts. You read a book and you say, look, oh, 4 o'clock, my God, I didn't even know time is flying. What happened to you? Your mind is engaged in something else. Well, it's a related time. Yeah, everything is related to this world. Vedantam is about Adhyatma. You are the center of Vedanta. It's about you. Everything is around you. In the material world, we lost this focus on the self. Therefore, everything becomes related, and therefore we suffer the global agony. But when you come to Adhyatma Vidya, you declutter all this and say, I am the center. Mayeva sarvam pratishtaya. I am. It's not with any arrogance, You take your life and you think of your day-to-day experiences. What is it? It is about you, about how you live, how you feel, how you experience it. It so happened you have a partner, you have a brother, sister, father, mother, child. They add to this drama and you add to that drama. At the end of the day, it is you that matters to you because you alone exist and everything else is created for you. This is something to slowly, surely contemplate. Don't say that therefore you don't exist to everybody else. But it is, all this exists like these projections on the top. So that's how you should understand this. It is the inside and outside is only for that. So that Yajati moves, that Atma never moves, that Atma is afar, and that is too close, it is indwelling, it is ever expanding. Now, sometimes great languages, language is what we use more often because we call, we speak, we communicate. So we don't really write off language as a communication tool. Anything is fine. Any language is fine. Even a sign language is fine. Then why do we write poetries and epics and ithikasas? Language has got more than communication. It is a revealer, it's a teacher. So in the great languages, the great seers bring in great meaning to the words. Like, in Tamil, the God is called Iraivan. Iraivan. Irai also means that is spread everywhere. So he is all pervading, Iraivan. That God is also called in Tamil Kadavul. Ul. Kada means surpass. Ul means interior. He goes inside. All indwelling. So basically, Isavasya Upanishad. Just in 2 words. At least Upanishad took one whole sentence to explain this. See, in Tamil, just one word. Iraivan, Kadavul. So like this, don't let any word pass by. When you do Adhyatma Vidya, it may look a very simple word. Why there's a word? Especially great scholars like Shankara's Bhashyam, or you look at it, there's not even a full stop which is unnecessary. Everything got meaning. But when you contemplate, sometimes you will get the meaning which even the author did not intend to put. Oh, isn't it a violation of the rule? No. Because the treasure is like this. The Shabdartha Devatas come in front of the devoted reader, analyzer. That's the reason why, like Tirukkural or any great epics, Shakespeare's or any such poetry, people give different interpretation. It brings so much of meaning. So that's the reason why Upanishads are so wonderful, because it's called Anubhuti Vakyam. It's not something he writes wordsmithing it, Upanishad is not a poetry. Don't measure with the Sanskrit meters. It may be falling into right meters. In fact, Vyakaranam is not, grammar is not built and language came. People mistake it. Sometimes when people write a poetry or write something which is not called to the grammar, they will say, no, it's not qualified. That is necessary. If you claim it is that particular genre of poetry, then if it doesn't fit into that, you do. But poetry is like any shloka mantra is like a waterfall. It just flows. It's like a curly hair, for a child, a curly hair. You don't like it, you tie it up and then make it. That is grammar. A canvas, when somebody paints, is a painter paints, and a framer does and put a frame. This frame looks on this point. The framing is grammar. Okay, once the frame is done, and if you decide to do an A4 picture, then you have to follow the grammar. So when you're writing and you're wordsmithing a poetry or mantra or shloka, then you learn the meters, grammar, wordsmith is. But when you flow, when a thought comes out, called Upanishad, Anubhuti. So when the Anubhuti comes in, the word may be, they are representing the innermost truth of that being who is expressing that. To understand that, you have to be in that same level of experience. Now, how do I have the, when I read this Upanishad or the Shankara's Bhashyam, how can it be like Shankara's mind? You and I cannot be at this stage. But the moment we want that to be, because when you say you want that to be, that means that your intensity of purpose, your Atma Tattvam inside you will say, okay, let's see it. So be it. That's why one word, Arunachala, turned Bhagavan Ramana, the naughty Ramana, very mischievous, the young boy Ramana, and turned into a greatest of Mahatmas. So it is not the knowledge that you accumulate in your buddhi as a rotting intellect. It's of no use. It is the clear mind, clean mind that is looking for this tabam, this tapas. Okay. So now we finished the important mantras 4 and 5, giving the Atmas. So if this is the case, it means if it's far and near, in and out, moves and moves not, it means it is in everything. And Atma is in everything, and everything is in Atma. How is this? How can we say that? I can see the space. Go back to the pot example again. Space is inside the pot. Understood. Space is outside the pot. Understood. Now, you ask the child now, child, tell me, where is the pot? You're asking about the space. I'm asking the pot. Where is the pot? It's here. That is, it is in the space. Space is inside the pot. Space is outside the pot. The pot is in the space. What does it mean? That means pot is the space. You understand? Look at the corner drishti. Rationality will stop. Veda antam. Veda means to know. The knowledge will end because it's inapplicable. But you will realize it. Right now, let us just limit ourselves. Space is Atma, which is not the case. Space is just an element. But let's take space as Atma. All pervading, far and near, inside out. We took this pot example. Inside the pot, indwelling, all over the pot, all over the place, pervading. Now, the pot itself in the space. Otherwise, where it can be. It's inside, outside, and in that everything is. So therefore, is Atma inside me? We normally say, inside me Atma. Or am I in Atma? Do you understand? So if Atma is inside me, I can say it is something very rich potential inside me. You can say, oh, I am also, Atma is inside me. I got the class, Atma is inside me. So each one of us can hold on to our own Atmas. So Atma, Anekam, we can say. But that myth has been shattered before. Ekam. So the Atma inside you is same as inside me. That means if it is inside me and inside you, then it is two separate things. No. Outside is also Atma. Therefore, we are all in the Atma. Now, this is if you contemplate this one, this is positively frightening. That means I am not searching for God. God is inside me, but I am inside God. If I am inside God, I am under His supervision. Like, inside my stomach, when I eat the food, you think when you eat the food, people say in Veda mantras, eating is a yajnam. That's why you don't fast all the time. You have to eat. Why? You say you nourish the body. Nourish the body is an effect. You are doing the dhati, do food to the innumerable jivas inside you. So many life forms are inside your body. Cellular forms, bacteria, they all inside consuming what you give. So therefore, by eating, you do havis, you do the yajnam. Nitya yajnam you do. See, this is how the ancestors have seen even a mundane stuff like eating becomes a very holy spiritual exercise. Then you will ensure that you eat properly. But here, the idea is to make you all contemplate this way, driving you towards what? I asked for what is Atma. He gave me some riddles. He gave me some examples: in, out, far, near, indwelling, pervading. Everything is in Atma. So all these riddles are pushing me towards only one thing. What is that? That's what is given in the next mantra. Yastu sarvani bhutanyatman evanupasthiti sarva bhudeshu cha atmanam tatona vijigupsate. Now, the Rishi is moving away from definition of Atma to Atma Jnani. By understanding, by contemplating on all these mantras, when you realize, Yastu means Yahatu, whoever that person is, what is the association for that person? Who is the person? Sarvani Bhutani Atmani Eva Anupashyanti. Anupashyanti, always see. Anu is continuous. Pashyati. Pashyati means always seeing. Whoever is always seeing, Atmani eva sarvani bhutani. In all the bodies, all the beings, who sees only Atma in everything. Because the examples have taught me that Atma is all pervading, all indwelling. In Atma, everything is there. You know, Bhagavan says of course, Bhagavan has got everything covered in the Bhagavad Gita. In the 5th chapter, he says, Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma Vijidatma Jentreha Sarva Buddhatma Kurvanne Api Na Lipyate. Yoga Yukto, by rationing, by reasoning, one who understands, what does he understand? Sarva Buddhatma. In all beings, you only see the Atma. Sarva Buddhatma, Buddha, Atma. You see only the Atma in everything else. Or who sees himself in all the Atmas. Such a Vishuddhatma, that the pure mind fellow, that the Vijidatma, that one who conquered the mind, that Jidentriya, that one who has conquered the senses. What happened to him? Kurvanne na lipyate. Whatever he does, nothing affects him. This goes back to the Isavasya 2nd verse. Kurvanneva karmani. Whatever you do, if you have this vision of Isavasya, Sarvatma Tattva, it is, then nothing affects you. A butcher can slaughter, a soldier can kill. This is the reason why we should not pass judgment, you know. Ahimsa is not an unconditional ethos of Sanatana Dharma. You must understand. In Buddhism, Jainism, talk about total ahimsa, total non-violence. Carefully, I'm saying, you must understand very carefully as well. This is not in unconditional thing in Sanatana Dharma. Violence by the word's sake is looks very bad. But annihilation, samhari, we call it a god as a samhari, one who destroys, you know. People say Rudran is a destroyer. See, all these Puranas give you this kind of a thing to take it stage by stage. Brahma is who makes the world, and Vishnu sustains, and Rudra destroys. Now, if you don't create, there's nothing to sustain. So Brahma becomes important. If there is nothing created, nothing can be destroyed. So what does it mean, all this? All this means manifestation, vyaktam and avyaktam. The cycle is come through. Different energies are needed to manifest, to prolong, and decay. This power of maintaining these three different stages or three different God forms. But Ishvara is all one. Because for him, it's no creation at all. This is all adhyasam, nama rupam. So you must always question, it's because we have been taught in a particular way, particular school of thought, which is very important, Ganesha is there, so pray to Ganesha. All the vignas, all the interruptions in life will go away. And we associate with this very easily. Why? Because life, you see trouble. Any job you take, there's a trouble. And you need solace to come out of the trouble. And this is form of God where I can pray, my vignam will go away. And it will go away. But why create the world, create vignam, and then make somebody to go away? That is the compassionate leela of Shakti. If Parabrahmam is the basis on which the Parashakti, the Maya Shakti, creates this world of samsara. Don't ask me why, nobody knows it. That's a divine leela. But the jivas who are just manifested, because of Maya Shakti's creation, they go through this karmas and the afflictions. Therefore, as a creator, the Maya Shakti has to give a cure. So Purana made Shakti to create Shakti Vinayaka, Ganesha. Ganesha is not a Shiva Parvati Putra. It is Shakti Ganesha. Shakti created this form. Why? That form will be to prevent or to annihilate troubles for the jivas who ask for it. Because she is creating trouble and he created a power to annihilate. And what did the Ishvara do? Ishvara, in his power, created Shivakumara, Subramanya, as a guru, Jnana Swarupi. Okay, look, the Shakti Leela will create samsara. The Maya will come. They'll be entrapped all the time. It's fun. If they understand everything, they can be part of it. Isavasya, if they know it, they can be part of it. They can be born as a Nitya Suris, they can be there forever. Because if God wants to play, who doesn't want to play? You want me to play like a leper or a poor man? God, so be it. Let me suffer. Let me do a fantastic act of suffering. Because you made me act. Now, if you have that vision, not bhavam, it's wisdom, you will not suffer in life. Because suffering is an acting. But I will do a very good act. People will have sympathy on me. Because I create sympathy on me because by you having sympathy on me and helping me, you lose your karmas. But I am not really suffering. When Rama is suffering and everybody comes and consoles him, Rama is not suffering. Why should Rama suffer? He performs the act of it because he took a role to play. So suffering therefore become a Vishwata Yoga. So Sarvatma Tattvam, Sarvatmikam is the most important point. If you that's a touchstone, I would say. If you want to say who is the jnani is the one who is able to see divinity in all, Isavasyam. More importantly, he is himself in everything else. Yastu sarvani bodham. So who sees himself in everything else? In everything else, who sees himself? Tato na vijigupsate. Vijigupsate means very shrinking thought. Hina buddhi. Lowering thoughts, or feel sorry for somebody else. You'll say, look, that child is born lame, prarabdha karma. Oh, he was he's got this problem. Very sorry for him. No, you feel sorry for somebody. You won't feel sorry for it once you understand that his Atma is there. Now, does it mean you don't show compassion? You show compassion. If somebody is disabled physically and you have to help them out, but don't feel sorry for them and help them. But that is very insulting, because no, that's how God wanted them to play, and let them be happy in that position. See, if I go, sometimes people come, if you're sick, they come there and say, oh, you are sick. Oh my God, I have the same problem. Oh, you went to the doctor? Oh, I have the same problem. So you add to them more, and that's not healing, is it? So you have to really, so this is what it means. So you will not feel sorry for anything else, because everything is Atma. You see reverence. You see holiness in everything. Sarvatmikam is that, the word, if you take Sarva, Atma, Bhava, three words. Sarvam means all. Now, the all, don't take it as, if you take the all in this class, it's count each one, enumerate each one, all these people together. When you start enumerating, that whole is not all. You understand? So, if you take all as that way, you have very difficult to contemplate this. I see myself in everything else. Sounds interesting. How can I see myself in this person or that person? A different race, different type of person. How can I see? It's impractical. All means including all people, right? So if you take that approach, that's also true, but it'll take a long time to comprehend the reality, because we haven't got the vision of passing over the apparent differences. It'll take a long time. So as a student of Vedanta, we are still abhyasam we are doing, you have a different understanding of this. All is not enumerated bits and pieces of a whole, but all is the underlying cause of all. What is the cause of all? Because effect is cause modified. Necklace is the gold in the form of a garland in the neck. Any energy cannot be destroyed. It can only reform to different norms and forms. So if I therefore look at Karna Drishti, Sarvam means Sarva Karanam, Sarvadharam. What is the Adharam for everything else? When Bhagavan Shankara, I had to finish now. Bhagavan Shankara goes to Kashi, Pulayan comes, Chintalan comes in there, and Bhagavan's disciples say, go away, go away, go away. You cannot be here. And he says, you want me to go away? Annamayat, Annamayam, Chaitanyam, Chaitanyat. This body is Annamayam. Are you asking this body to go away? Dure Kattum Vachasvi. You ask me to go. If the body is inert, insentient, Jadam, how can you tell a rock to go away? Same way, the body is no intelligence. You cannot say the body to go away. But if you have asked the Chaitanyam to go away, which powers his body to go away, where can it go? Sarvagataka. He is not my Chaitanyam, it is inside, is also inside you. Or if you think, no, I didn't mean the Chaitanyam or body, but together yours looks dirty, mine looks better. Then the Chandala asked the Shankara, then how come a sunlight which reflects on the gutter or reflects on the Ganges have no impact to the sun? Just because the sun is falling on a gutter water with an image, sun get polluted? No. So the Atma is pure. Chaitanya is pure. Navjigupta say, don't do this. But what about, in Brahmins say that, don't touch it, all that. That is not for you are lower or something. They follow a ritual. In the ritual, they say, Aspastaha, let this be, let untouched be given to God. But I touch it. Therefore, may you take a bath in the name of God. You become pure and you take these flowers, and may you take the flowers untouched by others and pray to God. So during the time, they don't want anybody to touch you. So it is nothing to do with the untouchability. All kinds of nonsense have creeped into the society. So Atma, therefore, is Sarvagataka. If that is the case, the Brahmajnani and Atmajnani would have no disrespect to anything. Everything is relevant to him. He does not have sympathy for anything else because he's compassionate. He does what he needs to do, but he does not look down upon anything. He doesn't even say, Isha prarabdha karma. No, that is for the jiva, not for the underlying. You see this Atma in them. I can't do it in my office job, but I do it when my adhyatma intervention needed. When I get angry at my staff, when I'm going to bounce on them, let me think about it. Oh, he is an Atma, I am an Atma. So let me know. Let me not blame him as a fool, but correct his foolish job. So my focus turned into his job he has done, not as a doer. When a child or a wife or a spouse makes a mistake, don't say you are always like this, your family is like this. Maybe go into this kind of a judgmental case because we think they are different from you. But when you see them, they are nothing different from you, the prem comes in. This is where the bhakti, the love becomes jnanam. When the prem is there like that, everything is there. But you cannot attain this prem unless you go through this path. Let me stop it here and take 6 minutes more. Om Purnamada Purnamidam
Om Purnamada Purnamidam
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnamyeva Vasishyate
Purnamevavasishyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om
Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Tatsate.
Om Tat Sat.
Hari Tat Sat. Thank you.
Thank you, Balaji.